5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Tonight, a flooding emergency in Ellsbury.
This is one of the worst flash flooding events that we've seen in quite a while.
The big help in a small town slammed by a summer downpour.
Concerns over storms, extreme heat and humidity, so we continue our weather impact alert tonight, and I'll have the latest timing on both.
Plus, Hollywood comes to St. Louis.
We are celebrating our story, which is terrific, but we're celebrating the city of St. Louis.
A local man's inspiring story hits the big screen with an exclusive summer screening in his hometown.
5 on your side starts now with a weather impact alert.
Parts of Lincoln County are under a state of emergency tonight. Downpours drenched Ellsbury overnight, where crews rescued nearly 40 people. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Dangerous heat and humidity is also impacting the bi-state again tonight. So let's get straight over to meteorologist Jim Castillo with those staggering rainfall totals. Jim.
Yes, Mike, you know that radar loop from last night, this is not current. This is from 1 a.m. until 4 a.m. last night. So that overnight nocturnal thunderstorm activity, it just was relentless. And especially northeastern portions of Lincoln County. There's Ellsbury right there, all the way up into southeastern Pike County, into Calhoun County, part of Greene County and northern Jersey County. So how much rain fell? Well, where you see that red area, that's where the storm stayed throughout most of the night. And you zoom in a little bit again right around Ellsbury, some of those estimated rain totals were well over 10 inches. And then I zoomed in just a little bit more here. I zoomed out a little bit, and you see all that red all the way into portions of Macoupin County. But I even found one spot with over a foot of rain. So you can imagine the problems that they've been having. The great news is about tonight is that storm activity that's been around the area has bubbled back down again. I'm not seeing anything like what we had last night. Zooming out a little bit more, the entire viewing area is clear, but then those northern sections just north of the viewing area, seeing a couple of storms up there. But again, nothing like last night. We'll talk about heat, humidity, and even some more storm chances later this week coming up in just a bit.
Emergency crews calling the overnight rain one of Lincoln County's worst flash flooding events in years. The hardest hit area is the town of Ellsbury, where people reported 1 to 2 feet of water in their homes. 5 on your side's Andy Kroll visited a church tonight, which is now operating as an emergency center to help flood victims.
We're very shocked.
11 o'clock on Saturday night. That's when the first of about 40 water rescues would hit in Lincoln County as 10 inches of rain came pelting down.
They physically either will walk tied together to the incident, or they will get in small rubber boats and attempt to make contact with the people, take them and their pets out. So it's a very hectic scene, dangerous scene. The water is rapidly moving at all times.
Lincoln County Emergency Management Director Quentin Laws tells us that some of the worst damage was right here on Highway 79. So much so that more than a dozen trucks had to come and deliver fresh rock here to the nearby railroad tracks because much of it got washed away by the rain in the hard-hitting storm.
Most of the water has gone down. The only concern spots that we have are on the other side of the railroad tracks, which would be in our floodplain.
Emergency crews needed to initially evacuate in Ellsbury from 2nd Street to 7th Street in town. That's close to Ellsbury United Methodist Church, which has quickly become headquarters for flooding victims.
One of our church members came down about 3 o'clock and opened up, and the first people that came in on like stretchers that had been rescued, and then throughout the night more people came in. They came in soaking wet. We used up every towel that we had, trying to dry them off. And
clothing, diapers, and even pet food making its way back to flood-damaged homes. The American Red Cross bringing buckets for bailing water and cleanup kits to Ellsbury, also helping the evacuation center at the American Legion 504 in Clarksville. Donations still needed at both centers.
I do know we need toilet paper, gloves, paper towels. We brought a bunch of that in. It's already gone.
Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
And tomorrow, emergency management will begin preliminary damage assessments. They've already contacted politicians and SEMA about getting resources to help families with flood repairs. You can stay safe when severe weather hits. Just get the latest weather impact alerts when you text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We've got new information just into our newsroom minutes ago. This is about a major case squad investigation in Madison, Illinois. Investigators now say a 16-year-old male from East St. Louis was killed in a shooting yesterday afternoon along Washington and Wayne Lanter Avenues. The Major Case Squad is asking anyone with information about this case to call 618-876-7182, or you can call Crime Stoppers. That number is 866-371-TIPS. Right now, police are investigating what has been a violent and deadly Sunday in North St. Louis. Around 11:30 this morning, a shootout on Concord Place in Baden left one woman critically injured. At the same time, officers were called to Randall Place near Ferry Street, where a man was found dead. Less than 2 hours later, homicide detectives called to North Kings Highway in Berkshire, where a man was found shot to death. We continue to work to try and find you more information about these shootings. And tonight, St. Louis police are looking for the driver wanted for a hit-and-run crash that left a woman critically injured. Just after midnight, police say a man driving an SUV hit the 39-year-old woman as she crossed Riverview Drive just north of Hall Street. Anyone with information on any of these cases asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Tonight, police in Mount Vernon, Illinois are investigating a shooting that left 2 people dead and put 5 others in the hospital. It happened overnight in the town about 90 minutes southwest of St. Louis. Just hours ago, police announced the arrest of a woman on gun charges, and more arrests are expected. The mayor says this all happened at an unsanctioned event in which more than 100 people attended. Less than 2 hours from now, the current contract between Boeing and more than 3,000 workers in the bi-state will expire. Today, union members rejected a tentative agreement. Now, they can't go on strike until after a 7-day cooling off period. The latest offer included a 20% annual pay raise. Workers also would have maintained their health and retirement benefits. A Boeing spokesperson released a statement today saying, quote, "We're disappointed our employees voted down the richest contract offer we've ever presented to IAM 837, which addressed all their stated priorities. We've activated our contingency plan and are focused on preparing for a strike." The union also releasing a statement saying members are committed to achieving a fair contract. They go on to say, quote, "The proposal from Boeing Defense fell short of addressing the priorities and sacrifices of the skilled IAM union workforce. Our members are standing together to demand a contract that respects their work and ensures a secure future." Boeing says no new talks are scheduled between the company and union yet. Tonight, an urban farmer is growing her reach in one of St. Louis's most vulnerable areas. Leah Lee Pulliam just signed on to new land to expand her garden to St. Louis's West End. For years, she's been giving away produce and teaching the community with classes, even summer camps for kids. Now she will farm in areas where vacant lots outnumber grocery stores. She says the mission is about more than food. It's about positioning people to be whole.
This is so much bigger. Food is great. The food access is great. Interacting with the soil is wonderful, but it's so much bigger than that.
Leah's team is prepping the land now with plans to plant it in the spring. She hopes it becomes a model for what's possible on empty land in a city. Just hours ago, they rolled out the red carpet at the High Point Theater for an inspiring story based and shot right here in St. Louis.
Powerful.
Soul on Fire chronicles the extraordinary journey of John O'Leary, who I featured in several of my Making a Difference stories. The movie was filmed throughout our city with over 500 local extras, and it marks the first major production since Missouri restored its film tax credits. Tonight, an exclusive summer screening was held right here in O'Leary's hometown.
In every scene, it's going to be like a bingo card, like Ted Drew's, check the box, Mercy, Busch Stadium 2, Busch Stadium 3, the dugout. So, in every single scene, you will recognize this thing is not on some screen in Hollywood being shot with a blue screen. This was shot right here in our backyard. Good to see you.
And John says the film's director, Sean McNamara, is now attempting to shoot another movie here. Soul on Fire will hit theaters nationwide on October 10th. Well, today, a 375-foot-long memorial honoring Vietnam veterans was taken down. The Wall That Heals was on display all week at Jefferson Barracks Park. It's a traveling replica of the original Vietnam Veterans Memorial in D.C. Since 1996, it visited nearly 800 communities across the country. A closing ceremony began at 2 this afternoon. Disassembly began shortly thereafter.
When pigs fly.
We see it as a symbol of the possibility of anything.
How one family is turning their own tragedy into miracles for others.
I wish we had had more time but I think that we are doing what we're meant to do.
Storm concerns, but our weather impact alert days for dangerous heat and humidity are numbered. I'll tell you when we finally end this hot streak.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
A St. Louis area family is turning grief into generosity. As you'll learn in tonight's Making a Difference report, it's not just what's on their shelves, it's what's in their hearts.
Here you go. Oh,
Sometimes the people who've lost the most give the most.
Oh no, 6 green.
That can certainly be said about the Hawn family.
Okay, I need 11, 9, or a 5.
At their home in Darden Prairie, you can find joy, comfort,
That's not fair.
and one very unexpected theme. Flying pigs are everywhere. Perched, hanging, framed. What began as whimsy has taken flight.
There's a saying that goes, when pigs fly, as if it's a miracle.
So it's really a symbol of hope now.
Hope born from heartbreak. Because 16 years ago, this family learned that some gifts come wrapped in goodbye. Ryan Hawn was born on a snowy January day in 2009.
He actually came a few weeks early. He was a 34-week baby.
But soon after, Mom Jennifer, a nurse, knew something was terribly wrong.
It just seemed like he was just always working hard to breathe.
The name of the diagnosis was long, spinal muscular atrophy type 1. But the prognosis was short and cruel. There was nothing they could do except cherish the time they had.
We chose to not take, major interventions, and just let him be a little boy and let him stay with us as long as God allows.
Ryan would live exactly 6 months and 1 day. And when he passed away, Jennifer and Chris made a decision.
When you think about what families go through when you have a child with a terminal illness, you want to do whatever you can to prevent that from happening to somebody else.
That we wanted to contribute to raising awareness and funds.
So the Hawns started showing up, first at our MDA telethon, then the MDA muscle walks. And slowly, step by step, grief began walking hand in hand with purpose.
You're in a place where you don't have to explain it per se. People have been through similar stuff. Everybody's got their own story, but everybody just kind of gets it.
They found community, and then they built one. In 2018, they started the Flying Pigs Foundation, transforming a personal symbol into a public mission. Their signature fundraiser, a night at the races. A sellout event that brings nearly 300 people together each year and has raised over $100,000.
We get to sell t-shirts, we get to have horse races, we get to have raffles.
And giving back is a family affair. Their kids, Charlotte and Grant, help with everything from setup to cleanup. But they're also preparing for the biggest races of their own lives.
Rookie card signed by Paul Goldschmidt.
Grant is getting ready to start high school. He's an athlete with a heart as big as his game.
It's going to make me cry, but I've always said he's loved me enough for both of my boys. What are you most proud of?
And Charlotte?
Spirit so odd was. Oh, yeah.
She's getting ready for college, which is its own kind of miracle. After being born with a brain disorder, doctors said might keep her from walking or talking.
What do you think you're going to study?
I want to study creative writing.
And now the impossible has become inevitable.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
When Ryan was diagnosed, there was no hope. Today, thanks to breakthroughs in research funded by families like the Hawns, children with type 1 SMA aren't just surviving, they're soaring.
There we go.
It takes my breath away, really, and it leaves me speechless.
That's why the flying pigs still fly. Because what began as a memorial to one little boy has become a movement that's giving other children wings.
If you just look around this house, there are flying pigs everywhere. There's pictures of Ryan on the wall. He's still a part of our family. He is present in this home.
Ryan left too soon, but love, that has no expiration date.
Roll 2 or a 12.
And sometimes when love takes flight, it carries hope on its wings for everyone it touches.
And the Hahn family will once again join me for this year's Show of Strength Telethon on Labor Day weekend. More on that in the weeks to come. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Okay, let's take a live look now over downtown St. Louis, where our trend of hot and sticky and dangerous temperatures continues. Meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with the weather impact forecast, and there is some good news in our future. We just have to wait a little while.
A little bit. You know, you'll notice it Thursday. Wednesday, it's still going to be hot and humid, but then by Friday, boy, that humidity's down, and we're in the low 80s for highs. And also some good news about tonight, Mike, is the storm activity, not seeing it ramp up like we did last night. We're seeing it ramp down. So right around Maryville was that latest downpour. Zooming out, seeing a couple of showers and storms just into Greene County, northern Greene County, but they're dying out. They're not ramping up. So some good news is overnight we may see a spot shower or storm, and then storms in Iowa, an outflow boundary from those may make its way through here in the morning hours. We'll see if there's any development along that here at 7:30 a.m. and we'll see if that extends down into St. Louis. So that's our only threat. Still a chance of a shower or storm. And then high pressure strengthens as we get into Monday and Tuesday, and it becomes extremely hot again all the way into Tuesday and even part of Wednesday. But 87 right now, and that heat index at 96, that dew point 75. I saw it as high as 77 earlier, about as high as it can get. 94 was the high. And those temperatures, even in Chesterfield right now, it is 89. The actual air temperature, 98, or heat index, I should say, is 98 for Scott Air Force Base, Sparta, and Salem, Illinois, about 94. So heat alerts all the way from really the Gulf Coast in Florida, all the way up to almost Minneapolis. And that futurecast heat index, about 110 St. Louis. That's on Monday. Look at Tuesday, our hottest day, expected about 110 for that heat index, 111 maybe even in St. Louis. 108 Wednesday, so not really a big change until we get to Thursday. Then that heat index and the temperature goes down. But tonight we'll watch this cluster of storms right there through Minneapolis. Again, that'll sag southward and watching that outflow boundary in the morning hours. Let's jump to Wednesday. Here's that front that approaches. Showers and storms are becoming likely again. May see some strong storms. And as we get into Thursday morning, a chance of storms, and then we start to clear up. The front is well to the south of us. And what does that do to the temperature? Well, check this out. 7-day forecast looks like this. Wednesday 93, but Thursday 84, Friday 82, and about 83 Saturday, 85 Sunday. But just keep in mind, dangerous heat Monday and Tuesday. And Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised. We haven't hit 100 yet, but we'll get close on Tuesday.
And we have more resources on how to stay safe in this dangerous heat. You can visit KSDK.com, and we can also send that link to your phone. Just text the word HEAT to 314-425-5355.
It's time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. Big changes continue to roll out on the Improve I-70 project in St. Charles and Warren County. Crews installed barrier walls on both shoulders of the interstate in Forestell, both eastbound and westbound. The good news on this one, all lanes are open and they won't be reduced, so no narrow lanes or closures. Drivers should just watch out for those barrier walls that are now up and the crews that are going to be working behind the walls to begin building brand new bridges in preparation of a new third lane. So the speed limit will be dropping to 60 miles an hour. In fact, Eric Kopinski, the Improve I-70 project director, wants to remind drivers this is a work zone. So Kopinski says, please slow down, stay alert, and keep those workers safe. This work is part of the $2.8 billion Improve I-70 project. The goal is to have 3 lanes in each direction from Warrenton to Wentzville. Construction on this won't be complete until 2028. So if you're heading through St. Charles and Warren County, keep it safe, stay in your lane, and obey those work zone speed limits. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A terrifying knife attack at a Michigan Walmart store now could lead to terrorism charges. Witnesses stepped up to stop the stabbings. Tonight, we're learning more about a mass stabbing attack at a Michigan Walmart. 42-year-old Bradford Gilley stabbed 11 people yesterday with a folding knife. Police revealed he could face terrorism charges. The victims ranged in age from 29 to 84. Several people, including a citizen armed with a pistol, stopped him from causing more harm.
For all of those people that were involved, first of all, I commend them. It's not very often that we have citizens that are willing to step up and take action.
6 men and 5 women were stabbed, all taken to the hospital. 1 has been released. Investigators are still trying to figure out the motive. A major trade deal tonight between the United States and its largest trading partner. The agreement with the European Union ends months of uncertainty. It will set tariffs at 15% across the board, a reduction from the 30% tariffs President Trump had threatened. Playing ball like it's 1864. The Pennsylvania group going into the past with America's pastime. A group in Pennsylvania is turning back the baseball clock. Everything from the uniforms to the rules of the game are from the 1860s. Outs are recorded on hits caught or caught on one bounce, 3 balls and a walk, and the underhand pitch. Saturday's game between the Athletic Baseball Club of Philadelphia and the Brandywine Baseball Club of Westchester, Pennsylvania. We're not sure who won that game. Jim has a final check of the weather.
All right, Mike. So one storm is up in northern Greene County. Looks nothing like last night, but we cannot rule out a spot storm overnight or into the morning hours, and very humid. About 78 in the city, south wind at about 5 miles an hour. Now, the hottest days out of the next 7 will be Monday and Tuesday, very close to 100, but that real field temperature or the heat index is about 110 plus. And then we cool off slightly Wednesday, 93, chance of storms. Also Thursday, but look at that, 82 Friday and partly sunny.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next.